Create guard plants, if you will, that attacked when ordered. We hit a snag when one ate Lawley's Kneasel. After that, he cut me out of the business, the short-sighted fiend.
I'll do it. I'm not— why this venomous tentacule?
Why do you need Mr. Lawley's venomous tentacular in particular?
Simple. If I have it, then Lawley doesn't. Ergo, I can launch my business, and he must start all over again. I'm killing 2 snidgets with 1 stone.
I'll do it.
What else is in Mr. Lawley's cellar?
All of Lawley's herbology supplies. He has quite the collection. Fill your pockets while you're there. Or to slow him down for a bit. And I can get my business going minus any competition.
I'll do it.
I'll get the venomous tentacular for you.
Marvelous. I know a fellow seeker of justice when I see one. Take as many herbology supplies as you like while you're in his cellar. All I ask is that you bring me the venomous tentacular. Remember, I just need that venomous tentacular.
Seems I need to find Mr. Lawley's cellar.
Glad you came.
Map, Hogsmeade. Collection chests. Take the cross button. Track quest, the 3 broomsticks. A triangle button. Take the biscuit. I noticed a goblin near the western bridge in Hogsmeade lamenting about a biscuit. This piqued my curiosity, and I should chat with him when I have up.
He'll see it was a mistake parting ways with me.
Hello, Serona. I received your owl. How are you?
Hello, my friend. Did you ever find Lodgok?
I spoke with him.
I did, thank you. In fact, we're working together to try and rein in Ramrock.
Are you? I suspected you and he would get along. Perhaps best I don't know details of your plans. And I shall refrain from telling you to be careful yet again. But I hope you will be.
Of course. Your owl mentioned you're needing my help with something?
I do. I thought you might be just the person to do a favour for my friend Dorothy Sprottle in Upper Hogsfield.
I don't believe I've met Mrs. Sprottle.
She's lovely. Her late husband Aidan was a friend of my father's. In fact, I'd stay with Dot and Aidan the summers I waited tables here as a student. I've seen her a few times since Aidan passed, but the pub's been so busy lately, I've not been as attentive as I'd have liked. I wonder if you might pop in and see her. She may need some help collecting ingredients for her supply of Wiggenweld potion. And you could retrieve something of mine in the process. A box, full of old letters and such.
I could try and stop by. Why does Mrs. Sprottle have a Wiggenweld supply?
Why does Mrs. Sprottle keep a supply of Wiggenweld potion on hand?
Dot's a skilled potioneer. She's been supplying travelling vendors with Wiggenweld potion. An ordinary precaution that has, unfortunately, become a necessity, what with Ranrock's loyalists disrupting the trade routes.
I could try and— Why did you leave your box of
Why did Mr. and Mrs. Sprottle have your box of letters after all this time?
It's one of a few that I had when I was young. Dot found it when she was clearing out a closet. Can't imagine what's in there. Probably terribly theatrical. The ramblings of a teenage witch and her friends. You're welcome to take a peek inside, if you do find it. To be honest, I'd imagine it contains some lovely memories.
I could try and stop by.
I'll try to go and see her when I can.
It would mean the world to me, and to Dorothy. Aidan was bringing the box of letters to me when he was taken ill. Dot can tell you where he might have dropped it. You'll find the hamlet just north of Hogsmeade. Please do give Dot my love.
Map, Hogsmeade. Brood, Owl Post. Owl Post. World map. The Highland Hogwarts map. Up, a friend indeed. Upper Hogsfield.
Upper Hogsfield. Now where to find Mrs. Sprottle?
Bardolph Beaumont should have returned by now. Had by dark wizards he was.
Ranrock's loyalists are a menace.
I couldn't help but overhear. Did you mention Ranrock's loyalists?
I did. Never imagined they'd act this deadly. I'm Claire Beaumont, by the way.
Nice to meet you.
Ranrock and his followers have set up camp here. No regard for our beloved hamlet or our livelihoods. Ruthless. My brother Bardolph dared to stand up to them and ended up in St. Mungo's. I'm simply at my wit's end.
I could run them out. What happened to your...
How did your brother Bardolph end up in St. Mungo's?
Bardolph had spent the entire day hand-picking herbs and roots for us. When a group of Ranrock's lot appeared and demanded the harvest for themselves, Bardolph refused. In their anger, they hurled him against a rock and robbed him. The moment he left St. Mungo's, he vowed revenge. I worry he may be dabbling in magic that he will one day regret.
I could run that. What? Where have the loyalists set up camp?
You said Ranrock's loyalists have set up camp here. Where, precisely?
To the south, across the river. Last I heard, there were several loyalists in each camp. I won't go near them.
I could run that. What? Where? Why don't you leave Upper Hogsfield?
Why don't you simply leave the area for now?
Upper Hogsfield is my home. Bardolph and I grew up here. No, we are standing firm. Once my brother returns, then we shall decide what to do next. He's gone to seek Victor Rookwood's advice. I didn't approve of that idea, but perhaps in the end it will help.
I could run them out.
I'm unfortunately quite familiar with Ranrock's loyalists. Perhaps I can do something.
Much as I would love to be rid of them, I wouldn't want you to risk injury, or worse. Please be cautious. We should not have to live in fear. This is our home. I will leave them alone.
It seems as though things are getting worse.
Shane Bardolph thought dark magic was the answer. I reckon
Hello,
Rookwood's put
Mrs.
a hand
Sprottle.
in his disappearance.
Actually, Serona Ryan asked if I'd come and see you.
Won't hold back. Not even...
Hello, Mrs. Sprottle. Actually, Serona Ryan asked if I'd come and see you.
Oh, dear Serona, a gem. Has been for as long as I've known her.
She thought you might need help collecting ingredients for your Wiggenweld potion.
And she's correct. My darling Aidan used to collect Horklumps for me. Since he died, my supply has dwindled.
I'm sorry for your loss, Mrs. Sprottle.
Oh, thank you. Love of my life. A bit lost without him. If you wouldn't mind gathering some Horklumps for me, I'd be happy to compensate you for your time.
Believe it or not, I have some with me.
Believe it or not, I have some with me.
Oh, thank you. How wonderful. The travelling vendors will be thrilled to replenish their stock of Wiggenweld potion.
Serona also mentioned that Mr. Sprottle was bringing her a box of letters when he fell ill.
Indeed he was. I'd almost forgotten. I stumbled upon it just before Aidan died. He was hoping to go through it with Serona over a butterbeer or two. Those two were always like two bowtruckles in a branch. Aidan took ill when he was collecting Horklumps on his way to see her. He made it home, but I fear he dropped the box in the cavern. The cavern is in the hills just southwest of our hamlet. You can gather Horklumps and collect the box of letters there.
Thank you, Mrs. What was Serona like when she was my...
Serona said she lived with you during the summers when she was at Hogwarts. What was she like?
Goodness. Well, she was almost exactly like she is now. Charming, good head on her shoulders, taking care of everyone. I can't tell you the fun we had when she and her friends would visit us during the year, all buzzing about, practicing charms. talented group. Her friend Mirabelle was a genius in the garden. Learned it all from her muggle parents, if you can believe it.
Thank you. What was in the...
Do you remember anything about the letters you put in the box?
Oh, of course. A few letters from some of her school friends. Some nice memories. I even included a letter Sirona had written to me when she was staying with us. Thought she might enjoy reading it. I know when I read writing from my youth, I'm always astonished at how much I've changed, and yet remain the same.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sprottle.
Thank you. I'll be here if you are able to collect those hawk lumps. I, and the vendors I help, would greatly appreciate it.
Cross button. Level. 20 map. Quests. Evade the Daedalus. Venomous Revenge. Birds of a Venomous Revenge. Take the biscuit. I noticed a goblin near the western bridge. Venomous Revenge. The Deadline Key. Evasive Maneuver. Troll Control. Evasive Maneuver. Troll Control. Venomous Revenge. The Hippogriff. Venomous. Take the biscuit. Birds of a Feather. The Hippogriff. A friend indeed. I need to find the entrance to the cavern Mrs. Sprottle mentioned. It looks like it may be in the hills southwest of Cross button. Level. 20. Map. The South Hogsmeade Brothers Keeper. Dorothy Upper Forbidden Far Brothers Keeper. Dorothy Sprottle is concerned about a missing person. Perhaps I can help track them down. Reward. Upper Hogsfield. Upper Hogsfield is low. Cross.
I'm sure it'll be harder to kill a moose. Ah! The lamb returns. You'll have to fight eventually.
This must be the cavern Mrs. Sprottle.
Sold some baby nifflers the other day. It's a small fortune. You always get more when they're small.
Leave the hawk lumps to Mrs. Sprottle, but I still need to visit the cave to find Sirona's box of letters. Perhaps I'll find more hawk lump. Better have a look around, see if I can find that box of letters. Confront! That's all the hawk lumps for now. Mrs. Sprottle should be pleased. Revelio. Either I'll have to fight that troll, or... Friend. Revelio. Revelio. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Confringo. Revelio. Confringo. Incendio. Revelio.
Don't break it.
Revelio. Revelio.
Dear Sirona, when I arrived here, I had a troubling sense that in many ways I wasn't like the other first years. I confess I worried that Hogwarts might not have been the proper place for me and pondered sending an owl to my parents asking them to fetch me almost before the first week of classes had ended. How did you know? I presume you're not secretly a Legilimens, but I wonder that you seemed to know my thoughts better than I did myself. That day in the Three Broomsticks when you spotted me huddled in a corner, staring blankly at an untouched butterbeer and an empty bit of parchment, my quill dripping ink woefully onto the floor, and you came to sit with me, well, I shall never forget it. I recall a sudden sense of relief as if someone had cast a levitation charm on me when you told me about how nervous you'd been to come to Hogwarts. I looked at you and it seemed beyond my imagination to think of you as anything but the confident, contented witch sitting before me. In the days that followed, I marveled at how you charmed in the non-magical sense, I mean everyone around you without apology embracing who you were and who they were. It was as though a candle had flickered on for me. I realized that I could choose that path as well. Now that my school years are ending, the frightened first year which I had been seems worlds away. And I know it's because you saw yourself in that despairing creature in the corner of the pub and so generously extended yourself to her. Yours sincerely, Mirabelle. P.S. Please tell Mrs. Sprottle that I still plan on visiting her and Mr. Sprottle whenever I can for their delightful conversation and, I am unashamed to admit, her incomparable cauldron cakes. Right stick. Scroll.
Thank you for your persistence and cleverness. I confronted Piers about it and he confessed straight away, the old rascal.
Dear Sirona, happy birthday, my darling friend. I sneaked into the kitchens and asked Finky to make your favorite cream crowdie. She was delighted to oblige. Not sure where she got raspberries at this time of year. Genius, that Finky. Dear Mrs. Sprottle, Mother and Father were delighted to hear that you and I had spent the afternoon at Gladrags last Saturday. Truth be told, I think my mother was ever so slightly envious. I shan't soon forget how heartily we laughed at my efforts to lace the bodice of my new dress. A challenge indeed. As is the rather delicate practice of properly situating a hat pin without wounding either my hat or my head. But I adore everything that we selected, and I have you to thank for now feeling like a marvelously fashionable witch. It was also a treat to dine at the Three Broomsticks without having to clear the tables. I shall own a place like that one day, mark my words. I consider myself more than lucky that you and Mr. Sprottle agreed to let me stay. I know that my parents feel precisely the same way. Yours gratefully, Sirona. Right stick. Scroll. Circle button. My dear Sirona, I've sent a note separately to dear Mr. and Mrs. Sprottle for their hospitality but felt the need to put quill to parchment with my thanks to you as well. What a lovely respite from the castle. I won't soon forget how we giggled about that ridiculous gnome. Did he truly believe that he was singing? And Mrs. Sprottle's steak and kidney pie was simply glorious. I shall be dreaming of it for days. I so appreciate you including me. I fear I must warn you, however, that this does not mean I will go easy on you in next week's match. You know that Ravenclaw is no match at all for Slytherin this year. Most gratefully yours, Philomena. Right stick.
I should take
Dear
the box of
Sirona,
letters
I
to
conjured
Sirona.
this wee gift for
Without
you
her
as a
back.
token of my gratitude. If you hadn't stood your ground on my behalf during Quidditch practice last week, I might have left the team altogether. And now we've won the Quidditch Cup. Ravenclaw House would not be the same without you. Yours sincerely, Sean.
I think that's everything. Sirona will be glad to have this back. Revelio.
Map, Hogsmeade Valley. Enemy level, Hogsmeade, cross button. Cross button. Flue Flames location, Hogsmeade. South Hogsmeade.
I've always said that travel broadens the mind.
Hello, Sirona. I have good news. I was able to provide your friend Mrs. Sprottle with some hawk lumps for her Wiggenweld potion, and I found your box of letters.
Oh, thank you. I knew you were the one to ask.
Happy to help. May I ask you about the letters in the...
I wondered about some of the letters in the box.
Of course. It appears most of the letters were from fellow students.
Were you on the Quidditch team?
One of the letters mentions Quidditch practice. Did you play?
I did. Was the Ravenclaw Seeker for 3 years. Oh, Merlin's beard. I adore Quidditch. Nothing like the feeling of catching the golden snitch when your team's down by 140 points. I'll never forgive Professor Black for cancelling it this year. I missed cheering for Ravenclaw.
Happy to help. Were you Mirabelle?
I saw a letter from someone named Mirabelle. Is that Professor Garlick?
It is. Still one of my dearest friends. I know she wouldn't mind you having seen that letter. She and I are of a similar mind, especially when it comes to young people. We believe experience to be an invaluable teacher. To borrow a phrase from Mirabelle, it's a joy to see anyone blossom, but particularly one who doubted they ever would.
Happy to help. Are Mrs. Sprottle and you as close as you seem?
I spotted a letter from you to Mrs. Sprottle. You two seem to have a lot of fun together.
We do. She taught me so much during my summers with her and Aidan. I shall be the first to admit that adolescents aren't always the easiest to understand. And not everyone was as kind to me as the Sprottles. But the depth of their kindness, and that of so many of my friends, got me through... well, got me through some challenging times, to put it mildly.
Happy to help.
I'm glad I could be of help. Mrs. Sprottle sends her best.
Don't know what I'd have done without her and Aidan. Thank you, again, for helping her, and for returning this box of letters. It's nice to reflect on good memories.
I don't rely on my Patronus to keep me safe. At least I think so.
Level 20. Map. Quests. Charles Rookwood's trial. Complete. The Lost Assets. Beasts class. Follow the butterflies. In the shadow of the jackdaw. The spell comp. Madam Professor Professor Herbology. Professor Sharps. Professor Potions class. Merakai depths. Cart it away. The lost follow the butterflies. I was able to find and follow the butterflies Clementine Willard C. mentioned seeing just inside the Forbidden Forest. They led me to a chest with a reward inside. I told Miss Willard C. and she was thrilled for me. I wonder if there are more of these somewhere. Rewards. Conjuration Spellcraft. Circle level 24 inventory. Gear. Collections. Gear. Collections. One hand conjurations. 30 small potions, keg tools. Conjurations. 33 out of 140. Decorations and gameplay stations conjured in the room of requirement. Traits. Level. Talents. Inventory. Notes. Quest notes. Quest item. Level. Talent. Collections. Conjurations. 33 out. Freestanding light. Small tables. Archway. Unknown. Square-shaped paintings. Don't be afraid to think. Level. Talents. Quests. All. Relationships. Side. The breaking camp. I spoke with Claire Beaumont and she needs someone to clear out a couple goblin encampments up the road. With these encampments disrupted, trading can resume in Upper Hogsfield. Clear the goblin encampments. Second. The breaking camp. I spoke with Claire Beaumont and she needs someone to clear out a couple goblin encampments up the road, with cross button. Untrack quest. Triangle button. Low level. Challenges. 36%.
If it thinks it's got half a chance, a werewolf would be on you.
Map, Hogsmeade. Collection chest, Hogsmeade Valley, East, the Highlands, East, breaking camp. I spoke with Claire Beaumont and she needs someone to breaking camp. I spoke with Claire Beaumont and she East Hogs.
One less human to worry about.
Lumos. Reparo. Utility. Try. Disillusionment. R2 button. Lumos. Utility. Allows you to see in dark areas.
One of Ranrock's camps, exactly as Madame Beaumont described. Revelio.
Wizards are running scared, as they should be. Someone's here. White, drag this out longer than necessary. I won't rest until such arrogance. How nice. No! I will make you pay. This is where you will fail. Can't handle a little altercation. Let's get it over with. I won't rest until you're dead. I will make you
One camp down, one more to go.
Cross button.
You will regret coming here.
Revelio.
You ought to cut back on pudding.
That's embarrassing, isn't it?
Incendio.
I won't rest.
When are you going to give up?
Get accustomed to that. No! One less humour to worry about. How nice of you to stop by. You will regret
Expelliarmus.
I won't rest until you're stop it!
Expelliarmus. Incendio. Descendo. Accio. Flipendo.
Do you find this enough?
Incendio.
No!
Expelliarmus.
I will make you pay.
Protego. Confringo. Both camps cleared. Madame Beaumont will be glad to hear that. Revelio.
Map, The Hogsmeade Valley, North Merlin, East North Ford, Upper Hogsfield. Upper Hogsfield.
Bardo Beaumont should have returned by now. Had by now.
I do miss the bustle of business.
Hello, Madame Beaumont. Good news. I was able to clear out Ranrock's camps.
You cleared them out? How?
It was difficult. I just surprised.
I managed to catch them off guard.
When my brother returns, this news will mean the world to him. You saved our hamlet, my young friend. This will not be forgotten. I fear for other hamlets, truly. Ranrock and his lot are unlike any goblins I've ever seen.
May I see your wares?
What do you have for sale?
What are you looking for exactly?
Hamlet shop.
Thank you.
Sell item.
Sincerely.
Curious silver. Ceramic mask. Crimson Quidditch. Ceramic. Crimson Quidditch gloves. Ceramic. Leather sorcerer hat. Unidentified. Curious silver spec. Ceramic mask. Crimson Quidditch gloves. Well appointed. Required level. Curious. Unidentified. Ceramic mask. By Mongrel fur. Stench of the dead. Spider fang. Fangs gathered from spiders. Stench of the dead. Essence gathered from inferi. Ingredient for thunderbrew. Mongrel
Oh,
fur.
you'll like
Spider
that.
fang.
Fine choice.
Spider fang. Mongrel fur. Mongrel fur. Tufts of fur-gathered, curious silver spectacles.
Thank you for passing through.
Level 24. Map. Quests. Quests. Charles, the plight of the house elf. Geek marked the level. Talents. Map. South Hogwarts, Hogsmeade Valley, Upper Hogsfield. Brother's Keeper. Dorothy Sprottle is concerned about a missing person. Perhaps I can help track them down. Rewards. Wand handles. Speak with Dorothy Sprottle. Cross button. Track quest, cross button. Upper Hogsfield.
Shane Bardolph thought dark magic was the answer.
Excuse me, did you say something about Bardolph Beaumont?
Oh, hello again. How nice to see you. And yes, I did. I was just worrying about Claire Beaumont's brother Bardolph, only he's gone missing. Rumour is he was seen in the forest practicing dark magic. Saw him myself near some ruins with Rookwood's lot I did. I fear he got himself into trouble with the Ashwinders, especially if he made them a promise he couldn't keep. Shame, really. With Ranrock's camps cleared out, I have a feeling he'd have given up on dark magic altogether.
Perhaps I can keep an eye out. Why would Bardolph
want to get involved with the Ashwinders?
Oh, he had a terrible run-in with Ranrock's loyalists. Changed him. He vowed never to feel powerless again. I think he sought the Ashwinders out to learn their secrets. Victor Rookwood, at least, seems somehow immune to Ranrock's loyalists.
Perhaps I can keep an eye out.
Do you think Bardolph may have simply run off?
No. Bardolph's run that shop with Claire his entire life. He'd not give it up for anything. He swore he'd be back in a fortnight. My instincts are that he's been held captive, or worse.
Perhaps I can
certainly look out for him.
Any help would be appreciated. You might speak to Claire first. Perhaps she has some insights that I don't. I can tell you that Bardolph was last seen in the forest wearing a particular woolen jumper, one that Claire knitted herself. Claire will be at her shop if you'd like to speak with her.
Map, North Fort Hogsmeade Valley. The plight of the house elf. Geek marked the location of the cave where Tobbs can be found on my map. I should head in that direction. Find the cave. Triangle button. The plight of the house elf. Hogsmeade Valley, Upper Hogsfield, Forbidden Forest.
These rocks have seen better days. This must be Tobbs's cave. Suppose I should head inside. Revelio.
Cross button. Level. Quests. Charles Rip Brothers Keeper. Bardolph allegedly practiced dark magic near the forest. I should start my search. Venomous. The plight of the house elf. Deke marked the location of the cave where Tobbs can be found on my map. I should head in that direction. Find the cave. Requirements. Suggested level. 20. Cross button. Untrack quest. Triangle button. Locate on map. Circle button. Back. Level 24.
Lumos. Confringo.
Tobbs, you missed your quota by 3 files. You know what that means? It means my loyal customers will be missing their bottles of Seamus's shrinking solution. Because of your foolish mistake, you will be given no food for a week. I also expect you to punish yourself accordingly. When I return for the next shipment, I'd best see bloodied bandages instead of your usual idiotic grin. If you do not meet your next quota, plus 5 extra files, you will lose more than your food privileges. Sir.
Tobbs's master is awful. Revelio. Tobbs? Tobbs? Deke sent me. Are you in here? Confringo! Incendio! Pretending! Expelliarmus! Confringo! Revelio. It looks as if Tobbs was here some time ago. He must have headed deeper into the cave. Confringo! Incendio! Expelliarmus! Defender! Protego! Confringo! Defender! Incendio! Expelliarmus! Confringo! Defender! Protego! Confringo! Incendio! Ugh. Shame you're so... Expelliarmus! Defender! Incendio! Confringo! Revelio!